Welcome to Building a Band Program, a special series from Rock School Proprietor Podcast. I'm John Kazicki, owner of Michigan Rock School, and this series is for studio owners who want to add a band program to their studio or who have a band program and want to take it to the next level. A band program can be a major benefit to any music school. For students, there's built-in accountability and reason to practice, and a strong sense of community and friendship formed from playing music with other people. And for your studio, that strong sense of community means greater student retention, better profit margins, and that dynamic of a band program simply can't be replicated in one-on-one private lessons. In this multi-part series, I'm going to walk you through everything from how to structure your band program and choose the right instructors, all the way to putting on a concert that your students and their families are going to be talking about for months. Today's topic, choosing instructors to lead your band classes. At my rock school, our biggest priority is getting students playing together in bands. Two of the key strategies we use in rehearsals are scaffolding and chunking. Both make complex tasks and big goals more manageable for students. Those same teaching strategies work great in private guitar lessons too, and they're built into my book, Complete Guitar Strumming. It's a straightforward approach to teaching rhythm, timing, and strumming so students can start playing songs faster. I've used this method for years, and the instructors at my school use it with their students every day. I also created a free instructor companion guide and training videos to help with quick, easy implementation to use with your students too. Both digital and hard copy versions are now available. Visit rockschoolproprietor.com/book to learn more. Welcome back to the Building a Band Program series of episodes on Rock School Proprietor Podcast. I'm John Kazicki, and again, I am here to share my years of experience working with bands in my studio, building a band program as a central point in what we do at my school, Michigan Rock School. I'm here to share all those little tips and tricks with you if you're thinking about starting a band program, or you've started one and you want to know how to improve it, or maybe you want to compete with those larger franchises like School of Rock, Bach to Rock that have those band programs. That's what this series is for. Topic today, choosing instructors to lead your band classes. This is an interesting question that I've heard from studio owners who have maybe primarily private lesson only instructors. How do I choose someone who's going to be a good instructor or a good band coach? What are the qualities that I look for in choosing an instructor to lead groups in rehearsals? I think one of the things to think about is look at their personality. Another thing to look at is, are they excited about this idea of leading bands? Are they invested in that? Do they want to do it? Because that desire and that want is going to go a long way versus you've got an instructor who maybe is hesitant or less interested. Another thing is, does this musician play in a band themselves? Do they regularly have rehearsals with the group so they're just familiar with how this works, setting goals and planning set lists and prepping for a performance? These are all good qualities to have. But I'm going to talk about three qualities. I guess more like three segments or things to think about in qualities of potential instructors that I think would be good for leading band programs and leading groups in band rehearsals. So number one, I would say look for those instructors that you have on staff who are multi-instrumentalists. These are all usually going to be some of your best instructors for a band program because they're able to communicate in the dialects of all the different instruments. So maybe they have a primary instrument like guitar, but they also dabble a little bit in drums, and maybe they sing a little bit. That's going to give them the ability to speak with those student band members in a language that they understand, as opposed to someone who just doesn't know how to communicate with these students. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, and you can definitely address that. In fact, I would say one of the best band coaches I have in my studio is primarily a guitar player, not a drummer, not a vocalist, but he's not afraid to help students in those situations who maybe are struggling in that dialect that he doesn't understand. And one of the things that we've done to address when instructors can't teach or play all of the instruments is we've simply created some guides for these instructors, just to give them a general understanding of even just how, say, take that same example, a guitar instructor who doesn't play drums, just an understanding of how drum instructors communicate in their private lessons with their drum students. Understanding that lingo or even just the terms is going to go a long way in communicating with that drum student. So we've created little guides for our instructors, like teaching drums for non-drummers, for example. Or you could create a guide for maybe primarily a drum instructor. How do I communicate with a guitar player? An understanding of guitar tablature would be a good thing. So there's all these ways that you can create these little guides just as a means to create a level playing field for these instructors who don't necessarily speak the dialect of the student and band member in that group. Number two, another way to address these issues when an instructor doesn't play all the instruments is clear lines of communication with private instructors. This is a key. This is a key for a successful band program across the board, but very important when you've got a band coach or band instructor who is primarily focused on one instrument in their teaching or what they play and needs to communicate with a different student who plays a different instrument. Communicate with the private instructors, because those private instructors are going to be able to support the students and what they need to focus on to prepare them for band rehearsals. The private instructors are going to know best. They're going to know how to translate what's happening in band rehearsals as maybe a problem that needs to be addressed, how to present it to the student so that they can improve and they come back prepared for the next rehearsal. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some other more general qualities that I think are very important when you're looking for band coaches or instructors to lead these band rehearsals. Number one, I think if they have a producer-like perspective on music, that's going to be very beneficial. And what I mean by a producer-like perspective, not necessarily just focused on one instrument, but looking at that big picture like a producer. How am I going to get this band sounding their best based on the individual pieces, as opposed to let me fixate on one part and focus on that? The end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get these bands to the finish line and put on a good show. Being able to look at all the pieces and the strengths and maybe the weaknesses of the individual players in that group, that's what a producer does. How do we highlight the positives? How do we mix those to leverage those against maybe some negatives? Even more literally, how do we mix this group so that they're going to sound great at the end of the day and in the performance? If you've got two guitar players and one of them is really strong and one of them maybe struggles in certain instances, it's not a bad idea to mix those guitars differently. Mix the stronger player a little bit higher, mix that player who's maybe struggling a little bit more, a little bit lower. Not everything has to be equal in this situation. We're talking about show business. We're talking about putting on a good show. We can make these changes and make these choices And having that producer-like perspective is going to allow us to put the best foot forward at the end of the day. Now, maybe some worries are like, oh, well, what about the student? How are they going to feel in a live situation if they feel like their guitar is mixed lower than the other guitar? They're really not going to hear it, right? They have so much else that they're thinking about when they're in a performance. They just want to be able to hear the drums clearly so they can play with the drums. They want to hear their guitar. They're not worried so much about the other things. Put on a good show. Have a producer-like perspective. Another very important quality in these band coaches is simply the ability to lead, the ability to make decisions that are best for the group as a whole. I think this goes hand in hand with that producer-like perspective, but making those decisions, again, based on what's best for the group as the whole, not the individual members. We have to make hard choices in these situations sometimes, right? Like, again, going back to the 2 guitar example, which guitar can handle the guitar solo, which guitar maybe isn't quite ready for it. Yes, you find ways to challenge these kids, but making the decisions in leading these kids through the end result is what's important. Then the last quality is being able to provide clear expectations, staying on task, and staying on that schedule. We talked about this in the How to Structure Your Band Program segment or episode related to a timeline and sticking with that. Along with that is the song choices and clear expectations. A lot of times these kids in the groups get really excited about the idea of, man, we want to play 5 songs. We want to play 6 songs. That's great. A band coach, though, that can look at the group and say, is that realistic? Can we present that as a clear, realistic goal or not? And if not, we have to set expectations, and these band coaches have to set expectations that are realistic for the group. So reeling them in and saying like, okay, well, let's plan on 3 songs. And if we get to that point where we can add another song or another 2 songs, then we'll totally do that. It's related to time management, task, and clear expectations. So look for those qualities in your instructors. Usually you're able to see that in how they operate with their private lessons, but those are all good qualities to look for in those band coaches or band class instructors. So choosing instructors to lead the band classes, I hope this has been helpful when you're thinking about this program and thinking about who's going to be the best choice to lead these bands. We've got a lot of other cool topics planned for this series, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Building a Band Program, and we'll see you next time. Wait, don't turn off the episode yet. I'm planning to offer a free live webinar to accompany this series in July, where I'll share more details on band programs and how to scale them, and give you the chance to ask questions live. But I've never done this before, so I just need to know that you're interested. So send me an email at info@rockschoolproprietor.com with the subject line webinar, and I'll be in touch with details. If you have topic suggestions or questions, please contact us at info@rockschoolproprietor.com. We'd love to hear from you and hear suggestions for future shows. We've put together some free resources for teachers and studio owners over at rockschoolproprietor.com and a private Facebook group called The Modern Music School. Please join us over there. On social, I'm at rock.school.proprietor on Instagram and John Kazicki on both LinkedIn and Blue Sky. Your ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify are always appreciated. And if you enjoyed the show and gain insight from our conversation, then we count that as a win. All we ask in return is that you pay it forward, and please share the show with someone you think needs to hear it.